are of the properties that you're negotiating with or talking to see whether or not we can get them. Or maybe it's the planning board.
It might be just the for sale signs up there or
I
something.
I don't know. You said you didn't want to disclose the name last week. That's what you said. And so
You were asking, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Does it matter?
It wasn't me asking.
Does it matter?
Do you remember?
Okay, no, I don't. Somebody was asking, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
I was,
Does
Peter.
it- What's the pertinence of that?
One week to the next? I was. And by the way, as far as this being a plan, there's the plan. This isn't the plan. By your own admission, it isn't the plan, because the plan now has
what do you mean it's
adjoining
not the plan?
property being taken in to accommodate the restroom.
No, we're just saying that this is the plan, Bill, and maybe we should look at.
Well, so that's your plan. Your plan is to take.
This is not my plan. I did not develop this. This has been
Take
in,
no accountability for anything, do you?
There is some kind of a plan.
Not on the
for
things I
some
had
kind of
nothing to do with.
There is some kind of a plan for some, and this is nothing we had anything to do with.
can I-
This is
I'm-
under McGinty.
Okay, I'm actually not, can we just back up? Let's just back the whole train up and let's start to the when we fund.
where we were on the tracks, you mean?
We are going to fund this.
The fact that
thing.
you
And
can't
Teresa, I
follow
wish you
what
would
I'm
come-
saying doesn't mean I'm not making sense. It means you can't follow. That's what it means.
Okay, let me tell you the history of the bathroom for Amagansett.
I don't want to know it. What I want to
no.
know is what is going on with this proposed bathroom. You're having conversations with somebody about some kind of a bathroom. I ask for what the heck the plans are, and I get a plan that you're now telling me is a plan that isn't really the
I'm
plan
not
because
telling
it's the
you
plan, but it's
anything,
not the plan
Teresa.
because it's
You're making
another
it
plan.
up. You are taking things out of whole cloth and making them up. So let's back up so that you can make sure you understand this. The money was bonded for actually when Schneiderman was the supervisor, and it was Pat Manser's project, and the bathroom was going to go in the Amagansett Square. The Amagansett Square was sold. The current owner did not want the bathroom into the Amagansett Square, so the merchants had no place for a public bathroom in Amagansett. The merchants were still looking. They came to it actually languished for probably 3, 4, 5, 6 years. They came back. They had used some of that money that had been bonded for the engineering plans. It was to be a bathroom that was built with shingles and a storage area. That had to be abandoned. Tom Talmadge brought
Brad Lowen brought it up as a town board member saying the money's gone.
Okay.
So how is that us?
Okay.
I know all of this. This is not relevant to my question.
Tom Talmadge then brought bathrooms that were already built, and all you had to do was buy the structure. They weren't as adorable as one might want at Amagansett Square, but they were going to now be in the parking lot. And this happened when Julia was on the board, when Dominic was the liaison, and they decided, they picked a color, they picked a unit, the permits were all in place and applied for from the Suffolk County Department of Health Services and for the Water Authority.
Well,
because
that's
you
once
needed
again
to
something
bring.
Dominic did without town board approval.
Oh, please.
No.
Because I remember coming to this board, it was the first year you were in office, and I remember coming as the Amagansett Citizens Advisory Chair to tell you that those plans were about to expire if you did not take, you didn't take it by the horns and really pass it. So I'm just listening to
The plans were about to expire.
The permits.
The permits.
That's
the
right.
permits.
So they were done already.
But
If they're
you
about to
were on the
expire,
board, but
when they're
you
expiring.
were on the board.
But I did not see the plans. All I know is there was never any money. There was this long history of plans, approvals, non-approvals, not being built, Meeting House Square, not Meeting House Square, people wanting it, not wanting it, where was it going to go? And then there was the plan to put the money into Montauk. That's it. I never saw this plan. Had I seen this plan, I would have said, this plan is so ridiculous.
And
It should be scrapped.
There was a discussion, because I remember bringing it as to why they were spending the money in Montauk.
I completely acknowledge that. That's right.
You're absolutely
But that's
right. And we talked about Suffolk County Health was going to shut down that beach at Nick's Beach, which
Okay,
was
can
a
I get
major
back
beach.
to the Amagansett bathrooms, please?
You're absolutely,
Thank
there
you.
was discussion on a need for a bathroom in the parking lot area of Amagansett.
In the meantime, the town has put in a porta potty at the back of the bathroom, and it's
Right.
been there for the entire time you've been on the board.
Right.
It's to the
Thank
Amagansett
you.
Citizens Advisory Committee. It was unacceptable for children to have to walk through an entire parking lot in order to get to a bathroom. So they then looked at the plan of the town and how the hamlet is laid out and said, aha, we have a alleyway that goes between two buildings, landscaped, trees, that if you go to the end of it, you come right to the edge of the parking lot, and that's where the bathrooms were placed. So they took up, not next to the first row, but in the second row is where the 6 parking places were going to take up so that people could walk from the center of town through and not have to go through a parking lot, so that they could then go right through the alleyway between, nicely landscaped, not a scary alleyway. It's got trees, as I said, in the middle of it, and you end up at the corner of that parking lot, and there is your bathroom. So that is the reason, and that's why it's not a silly plan.
Well, excuse me.
And so-
Let me just,
flow?
no,
I don't think
forget
you're gonna
about that.
mandate
Can I
people
just,
walk in one
can I
direction?
just ask one
I
thing?
don't know,
Can I
the
ask?
alleyway doesn't have,
May I
it's
ask one
only
thing?
a people
The
way
only,
to go.
the question that came up was we were given a plan and that didn't jive with the former week's conversation of buying property for a restroom. That's all where I was concerned about is there was conflict. We were given a plan, everybody says,
Nobody gave
here's
you
the
that plan.
plan.
Teresa asked for that plan. Nobody gave it to you.
What difference does it make?
Well,
We went
because
to
there was no
Marguerite-
explanation
We went to
for it.
Marguerite,
I
reported in a
said, what
status
is this
report.
plan? What
and-
are you talking about? She
and she
passed
got-
me
I've
this
been
plan.
discussing it with Marguerite. I've been asking Tom Talmadge if the
Did you not
permits
get this from
were.
a status
I
report?
got it from a status report.
So
So
she
this
asked for
is
the
what she's
plan.
telling
And
me.
so she,
plan.
and the
So she's
plan
telling me that's what's
is
being
not the
discussed.
same
And
as
that
what
is
was
the-
discussed.
that is
That's
the-
all that's being brought
So
up.
it turns out what you're discussing is secret. Oh, did I say it? I mean,
There's no
obviously,
secret
well,
about a bathroom,
because the
Teresa.
plan that
Boy, if
I
was gonna be
received,
secret about
the
something, it
plan,
wouldn't be that.
the plan I received is not the plan you guys are talking about. You're talking about a piece of
I'm not
property.
planning. Look. This board so far has rebuffed any idea of going
all
out
right,
to bid.
let's move
So we are
on.
not going
I'm
out to
finished.
bid.
I'm finished with my
Or get an
liaison.
appraisal. If you would
can't
like to
take
go out for an appraisal on either of those two properties, both of those properties, it was said to me by John and by the board that we had to do it in open session. I was trying to not do the appraisal in open session, but you said we had to do it, so that is, the plans would completely change if we went and bought the properties adjacent to it and moved the bathroom to those properties. There was money to be spent that we could, from the bond, to purchase that property and to put in the bathroom and also expand the parking lot, which seems to possibly be too
My point
small.
is, if we're planning a bathroom, I'm listening to you talk about one issue, and I'm seeing Marguerite talk about a different issue. I'm trying to get reconciliation. What's going on here? That's it.
Okay, let's move on because we haven't gotten reconciliation in
Can we
40
go back and
minutes.
can I ask if this board would like to go out for an appraisal
me.
for the property?
No,
next-
because I don't know what property it is. Show me the tax map number.
Okay. We're happy to do that.
Okay, I have a resolution to appoint a part-time recreation aide, Erin Abram, Department of Rec. February 6th starts as part-time for
Aye.
Winter Girls Softball.
Aye.
All in favor? Yeah, thank you very much. Listen, by the way, I have to go into exec. It's going to take but 5 minutes. It's to talk about a contract with Southampton.
And I've got 2 litigation items we're going to have to discuss
It will
tonight.
ta- I'll do this in 5 minutes.
You okay? Now, are we done?
Can we go into exec?
Motion to
can-
adjourn to exec session.
We haven't done the resolution.
We haven't done a
So
resolution?
we haven't done all the liaison reports.
Oh, right, Fred had an issue too.
Board to address.
Okay.
So when I put on your dais there before the meeting, it's a student filmmaker from NYU.
Oh, from Wayne's?
no problem.
Yeah, that's fine. I looked at it yesterday. The
I'm in
only
favor
problem
of
they
it.
have to be aware is they're dredging down in Georgia. There's a lot of sand on the beach and tire tracks and everything.
I talked to John Rooney yesterday. He went to Beach Lane.
I was with him.
Okay, so you know the circumstance. He said he did, in his opinion,
No, it's safe. I just don't think it's viscerally attractive on that part of the beach, but if they want
That
to
may be part of
they
the,
film.
That may be what the
for
film's
a couple
about.
days because of weather.
How about burial and you can participate in it? Yeah, it's fine.
Town board
Everybody's.
agrees to waive the fee.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Now, you got some resolutions we can
Oh,
quickly
we got
look at?
more liaison reports. Or are you done with liaison reports?
It's only 2:30.
Do we have more liaison reports?
No, forget your liaison.
You have a liaison?
Well, I just want to make
in
sure
the
that I've been working with the litter committee, and the litter committee went to the planning department at the suggestion of the entire board to do an Earth Day event.
I read
which-
about that in the paper.
Okay, so the Earth Day event is moving forward, and they want the blessing of the town board to make sure that they can participate in Earth Day and, excuse me?
I don't know anything about it.
Deb Klugers came to the town board and talked to us about it at,
About Earth Day.
no, about the project that
Oh,
she
for
wanted to
the
do
flowers?
for some sustainable
Yeah, what, a sustainable garden?
garden that would,
Yeah.
here at the town hall property.
Right. That's fine.
And thank you, and the planning department is now involved and working with Tony Lippman to
You gonna put
give
deer
us-
fence around it?
No, they wanted to make it sure they're
teasing.
deer-resistant
Teasing.
plants,
It's a
and
joke.
so that,
It's a joke.
okay. Get the ARB involved, is that what you want to do?
It's an 8-foot fence.
All right,
So I will present a plan before Earth Day,
Okay.
so that you can see where the flowers are going to be and where the plants are going to be. And do we have the town board's blessing on this?
You have mine.
Thank you. Dominic?
absolutely, I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to help.
Peter, Teresa?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do it. Peter, you wanna just,
Okay, yeah, I have only two at the moment. Part-time recreational aides for the Recreation Department. 3 persons there at $9.50 an hour. And then I have authorized payment of Best Climate Control 2001 invoice Parks and Rec.
I have a request for amending a UR map, which has been reviewed by the planning board and town board. It's for a public hearing for March 7th. I have the exact same issue for another urban renewal map again on March 7th.
can I just, I'm sorry. John, do we have any idea when we're gonna bring that urban,
The state
Oh, yes.
controller done yet?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a call back from the Board of Elections for available dates. I was going to ask the board if it's okay if I just coordinate with you on picking a date
please?
for voting here. We got an okay, we got a inform, we had the, got it in advance to make sure they were going to have issues with the monetary part of it, so we wouldn't have to rehear and revise the numbers, and they got back to me and they gave us an okay. So we can move it forward. So I'm just, as soon as I have dates from Board of Election for a vote, we can schedule a vote of the
As soon as possible,
property owners.
it's fine with me.
Teresa, sorry.
I have a notice of public hearing to acquire a half-acre parcel in Suffolk County, in Springs from Suffolk County, and that public hearing would be on February 21st. I have a public hearing for another real property, that would be through CPF. I have another CPF acquisition for property in Amagansett, and that's 9.5 of a 10.5 acre parcel, and that public hearing is February 21st. I have authorized attendance to the shellfish hatchery for, I don't know who's going, certain people from the department to go. And he's going to choose who goes there. The cost is already in the budget. I have approved purchase of refreshments for the annual hatchery tour, and the cost isn't to exceed $125, and it's in the budget. I have retained D.B. Bennett, historical consultant, for services related to the restoration of the Lester LaBrosy House. This is a CPF issue. I have authorized the agreement with Cornell Cooperative, monitoring and assessing the borders of East Hampton.
I'm sorry, can you just go back a minute? Retained D.B. Bennett as historic consultant? I thought he was an engineer. Should that say as an engineer?
Well, it says that in the second paragraph. Whereas the town is required to hire an engineer,
Okay, so maybe we
whereas
should
it has
just change
obtained
that.
special knowledge of historic restoration work. Whereas town, I guess it's combining both.
It was put out, he went and did the research, he and Jeannie, and he's Scott Wilson, so.
Want to change it to historic?
No, it's covered in the,
Engineering?
it's covered in the text.
All right.
I have released security and undertaking for a revegetation plan. I have amend a resolution for budget mod for the aquaculture department.
Stands young.
That's it.
All right, we got increase in hours for Human Services Department. We got 2 employees, Lillian Rodriguez and Michelle Rother, from 30 to 40 hours and 35 to 40 hours. That's to help Diane cover. She's got some shortages in personnel over there.
So this is covered because the
It's in the budget.
personnel,
Right.
is she looking actively for personnel?
Well, it's these, instead of hiring new people, she's extending the hours of the people who already work there. And Liliana and Michelle have agreed to do
So
that.
that's on a permanent basis,
Yeah.
not on a temporary basis.
Accept donations for human services, $100 from the Women's Guild of Montauk Community Church. I've got accept bid, semi-annual contract for bread for human services. What else do I have? Increase authorization for Robinson Aviation. Now, this is to finish out last year's tower contract. Len has reviewed this, and I asked him about it this morning, and everything is square. I think we finally owe him $70,000 is what.
It's just so everybody knows, this is to provide the seasonal air traffic control tower and staffing
Last year.
for the last.
2012. And it's going to be, the season's going to be shortened this year, according to Jim today,
We're
so
going to cut it from October 31st to September 30th.
to the September.
So we're going
yeah.
to save that 70,000.
Hopefully we'll get that right.
And now I'm done. Thank God.
We're gonna cut a month of safety.
Okay,
I
resolution,
think it's more than a month. I think he was going to stop at right after Labor Day, I think.
oh, he's not going to go till September 31st?
Did he say 31st?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay,
he did.
all right, so.
A resolution to appoint crew leader David Brown, Sanitation Department. This is a promotion. Appoint provisional justice court director Betsy Martin. This is also a promotion. Authorize Lester Bailenson to attend a training. This is for fire marshal. Attend conference for various employees, building, fire, and ordnance. This is where they all go together and get.
Yeah, they all go on
Yep.
It's
convention.
not a boondoggle bill.
I didn't say boondoggle, I said convention.
Notice for a proposal for an RFP for household waste collection days. These are the stop days that Jeannie was talking about first thing this morning. Accept a bid for printing of permits for the sanitation department from Ridgewood Press. And authorize a change order for tank cleanouts in the drying beds at the Scav Waste Plant, which is an additional cost of $4,000. Issue a check to Harold McMahon Camp Hero District, Sewer District, Water District for $1,260, and a budget modification for Justice.
Actually, the sewer districts, excuse
So
me.
the
Is it Sewer
correction is,
District? I'm sorry.
so
We
it's
don't have a water.
in the text,
Oh.
in the text, it's
In
going
the
to say
Camp
sewer.
Hero Water
I see it.
District, okay.
Should be
Sewer
sewer
district.
Sewer District. Then the budget mod was for Justice Court to pay FBS, which is the company that does the ticketing, does our ticketing for us, and it's just moving money, $6,000 from one budget line to another.
Did we ever get to the bottom of what happened and why this is so much more expensive than it was anticipated to be? I thought we switched companies because it was supposed to be cheaper and it ended up being more expensive. What
Len?
happened there?
Len,
The FBS was the final bill, and we switched to,
FBS was the old one?
I think,
No,
an
FBS
LES.
No, FBS is the new one.
And LES is the
That's the
old.
new, LES is the old one, right?
FBS, Len?
Yeah, no, the bills are running higher. I sent correspondence, I actually talked to Larry Cantwell about it too, because the village also pays part of that bill because they use the same service. So, sent correspondence to the judges. You know, the company's getting 30% of the value of the tickets that they process, and this is what it's coming out to be. So, what I've arranged to do is, once we get the final charges for the year from Fundamental, and once we get all the receipts in other words, all of the money from the tickets they processed, we're going to take a look at it, compare it to the same period last year. We're going to have a meeting with Larry and the judges and try to figure out, what the heck's going on.
What
I
was
have
the
a-
assumption on savings?
Well, the old, as I understood it, the old company charged a higher percentage. They were
but-
35%.
we're paying more money.
But the bills are, but I, you know, again, no, the old company, I believe, charged 20%. But the old company essentially went out of business. They got bought out by
What
another
was our
company.
assumption on savings?
Not the way I remember it being presented.
Our assumption was that it was that the savings were going to be based on the percentage of what they were going to be able to collect, that somehow they were going to
But
be
if
able to
they're
process.
collecting, if they're getting
more.
30%, they must be collecting, and we're out of pocket. They must be collecting less than what was collected previously.
No, actually, the receipts are up this year because I think the volume has been increasing every year, the volume of tickets, and our receipts are actually up. The latest, I just looked at it yesterday, for 2012 so far, we've gotten over $1 million in justice court fees and fines, and a lot of that's tickets.
Fees are up, and we were doing this to save money. And
No,
yet
well,
we're costing-
yeah, it wasn't just to save money. It was because the other company was going out of business, and according to Lisa, this was the best company available out there to go with.
Remember another half of the discussion, which is there was a lot of frustration with the company because they were messing up. It wasn't,
They
it
weren't
wasn't
doing the
that they were
reports.
going out of business. There was,
It was reporting, it was
Exactly.
mandated reporting for the judges with the state controller's office that they weren't generating the reports that were needed on
right.
time.
So there was dissatisfaction with the company. But when it was presented to us, there was this whole presentation that we were going to be making money on this.
I just
Saving
think
money.
you remember the percentage that was taken by the company doing the work was higher for the previous.
Yeah, I remember.
That's
that.
why.
That was
That's why. That's why. What I want. That's why.
35%,
And that's why.
30, and
Well, but Larry's seen the
That was
difference
why
too.
it
I
was
mean,
cheap.
Larry contacted me and said, he's saw the increase in the fees also. So I think the thing to do is to make this assessment once all of the, we already have the contract with.
My memory is the same as Peter's. I remember that we were told the percentage was going to be less. That's what I remember.
That's
and the-
why.
processing would be faster.
And faster.
that
And
would
what they were gonna
save,
do is
and that
catch it
they would
on
get
the
a higher
far end.
percentage of compliance with.
I would just like to know why we aren't,
So-
why we're losing.
Why we're losing.
No, we're not losing.
Well, we're not
Why
necessarily.
we're having to spend more
Yeah,
money.
that's,
Yeah, well,
we're
that's
losing.
What I
Well,
well, I'm not. I want to get the final.
But if
Listen,
our
that-
revenues are really up, and up substantially, then we would have adequate monies to cover this difference, unless it's only up minimally.
No, because we didn't budget for this company. This company came in, the budget had to be modified because the old company did the processing for the first 6 months of the year. This company came in the last 6 months. So we didn't know that to switch.
If there's more income, yes, there should be more cost if the price went up, but my recollection is, Peter's, the price was going to be less.
There's,
It's gonna be a lesser
that's why we need to do this analysis once the data comes in. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to give you any final analysis because we don't have the final numbers in. And I think what we decided to do is look at the 6 months that this company has processed, the last 6 months of the year, look at what the receipts are, look at the percentage of what their charges are versus what they actually processed, in terms of volume and how much money we received, and then sit with the judges and decide whether or not, from a cost-benefit standpoint, that this company makes sense for the town.
I had a complaint from a constituent, which I'll pass on for your discussions. They had a ticket, they wrote and said, this isn't even my car. They got was invalid for whatever reason it was. And they got a notice saying it's increased 20% because you didn't pay on time. Rather than saying, oh, I get your complaint, it was increased. Then they got a letter saying you get an amnesty of a reduction in 20%, which 20% is higher than the original bill. So my point being is that whatever the process is, it really is sort of a treadmill.
I think you need to ask the judges about that. I mean,
There is an amnesty program going on right now, but it goes back to like 2007. If they've any parking tickets, and it may even be further back than that, I can't remember, where they're going to write people letters and saying if you want to come in and
I'm not so sure that
pay up-
it's started yet.
It did
They're
start
trying to
because
get,
I
well,
got-
if
I
somebody
had-
received a
very
letter.
soon if it hasn't already.
It started, I just said,
I
I
don't know
got
whether the
constituents.
I didn't know if
telling me
the
they
letters
got
had
the
gone out
letters.
either,
I
but
don't
I
know
knew
if
they
the
were
letters-
going to work on
Right.
it.
Well, let's go. Okay. What, you want to say anything about Nicole Facito on this?
Great.
Do you want to say anything? No?
In terms of,
Get it.
no, I don't know
Okay.
what about.
Let's go. 11, 9, 10.
Oh
Amend
no,
2012 budget.
that's a good promotion.
Right.
Nice. Amend the 2012 budget for police harbors and docks expenditures. Budget mod for 2012 fuel lines. We got a payment of lease vehicles. We have a payout of Mayra Ray. We have issue a check for Verizon old bills and emergency services. We have to authorize payment of old bills to Hampton Motors for repair of an ATV in 2011. And a bill in Hampton Septic for 2010.
Wow.
Holy smokes. Contract extension, annual traffic signal repair and maintenance. Approve a mass gathering for a nuptial celebration at Acre Park. Approve a commercial gathering, waive fees for the annual arts and crafts of the Montauk Village Green for the Lions. Retain outside counsel 2013. Con and Con. Jaspin Schlesinger Hoffman. Kaplan Kirshen Rockwell, David E. Egan, and Associates, Roger Ramy, Michael Rycon, Suzanne Roxbury. Is that it? Carol?
Just a couple quick points.
John, can you break out the retain outside counsel for 1213 instead of lumping them all together? Because last year we did it for each separate
Right,
entity.
right. We
Why
could do
did we
that.
lump it all together?
It doesn't appoint them to any new matter, it just continues on for whatever matters they're assigned to already, so that we continue. We do their bills annually, so if they have the last authorization was 2012, so none of their bills could be paid without a new authorization. We can do separate resolutions for all of them if you like.
Yeah.
So
Separate
seeing
break
the
them
fee
all out.
schedule here reminds me that I wanted to just ask the board if we could, in occasions when we have people who are representing the town on the clock, that we try and get to them early in the work session. Because, today, for instance, we were well into the work session, I think almost an hour and a half into the meeting, while we had probably about $1,000 worth or more an hour sitting in the front row
I'm
here.
sure you started paying for them when they woke up this morning, got in their car.
That may be.
Well, they wouldn't have to
too.
wake up as early or stay as late if we got to them first.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
We go into exec, motion to go into exec.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
That was for the reason of discussing a contract.
And two stipulations on, one on the disciplinary proceeding and one on litigation.
Thank you. Can we take just a moment break?
Yeah.